Alright, so in Chapter 121, we saw Darkshine encounter Garou, which means that these two beasts are inevitably going to fight, and you should get excited because it's going to be incredible. Now, we haven't seen the fight yet, but it does play out in the webcomic, and it revealed that there is much more significance to this battle than it just simply being Garou fighting Darkshine. So I want to talk about that in this video, but first, I want to talk about non-spoilery stuff that just pertains to the surface level significance to this fight. And then I'll give you a warning for spoilery stuff, as I always do, so let's get into it. So first of all, this is Darkshine's big moment to show how powerful he is, essentially his first big test, because before this, he's had no challenges whatsoever. In fact, I think he's only really fought 3 times in the entire series, and 2 of those weren't even really fights. So the first time we actually see him in combat is in Season 2 against the Destrochloridium parasite monster, and he quite literally claps him. And then we see him, go against some fodder monsters in Chapter 94, and he just touches them and they explode, and he runs through them and then they explode as well. And then the most significant fight that he's had, which was kind of a fight, was in Chapter 106 when he went against Bug God. So once he transforms, I consider Bug God to be pretty close to dragon level, and not even someone of his power could do anything to Darkshine. He just stood there, took his shots, and then literally one-shotted him. So these are some of the most impressive feats of power we have seen from any of the S-Class heroes. And the hype just goes further because also in that chapter, Darkshine claims that they, whoever they are, say that there are 3 S-Class heroes that you should not anger. King, well that goes without saying, Tatsumaki, and then himself. So does that mean that Darkshine is one of the 3 strongest S-Class heroes? Maybe, maybe not, but it certainly means that he is one of the elite. We have 17 of these S-Class heroes, and he is in the best of them, for sure. Like I said, these are some of the most impressive feats we have seen of all of them, or at least of what we have seen so far. And I think another thing that kind of cements that is in the audiobook, Genos' Training, in the virtual genocide simulation, Darkshine was one of the few heroes who was legitimately able to defeat Carnage Mode Carnage Kabuto. Now, granted, he had to use his full power, and it took him 15 minutes, but still, we saw how powerful Carnage Mode Carnage Kabuto was against Saitama, so somebody that can earnestly take him down that's not Saitama is giving us some pretty good insight into how overpowered this type of character is. And also, the hype just goes further, because also in Chapter 106, Darkshine says that not even he knows a way to hurt his body. So does that mean that he is invincible? He's essentially impervious? Maybe, maybe not. We haven't really seen him take any damage. If you could just literally stand in front of a fringe dragon and take multiple shots and not guard, that's pretty indicative of some insane durability, maybe the highest. And with him going against Garou, we're finally going to see Darkshine presented with a challenge, because in my video, How Strong is Garou Currently in the Manga, I estimate him to be like a high dragon right now, pretty definitively probably. And I also estimate Darkshine to be a high dragon. He took down Carnage Kabuto. We've seen the other feats. He's up there for sure. So if anybody is going to present it with a challenge, it is going to be a high dragon. Even if it was Garou that went against Orochi, it would still be pretty challenging for him, in my opinion. So now we're finally going to see what these 2 guys can do against each other. And that also means that we're going to see what Garou is now capable of, because he has also increased his power since he has woken up since his near-death encounter with Orochi. So there is all kinds of significance going into this, and the hype is real. So it's at this point that I want to go into the true significance of it, which means I'm going to have to go into webcomic spoiler stuff. And this, like I've said, has played out in the webcomic, so I'm going to be talking about what happens in this fight. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I suggest you check out now. So we're going to get a good glimpse of more or less what Darkshine's true power is, because after Garou lands his initial counter kick on Darkshine, he gets up and then launches this super powerful tackle at him. It's so powerful that it just busts through like Garou's counter water stream. And then Garou even says, like, if it hits him, he's gonna die. Now, it does hit him, but it doesn't kill him. But it, like, breaks his ribs and sends him through, like, a wall. Now, given that Darkshine is way more powerful in the manga than what he is in the webcomic, I'm sure this feat is going to be amplified. But still, Garou is able to get up after this. And it's also revealed that Darkshine is familiar with the Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist, and that's because he had sparred Silverfang in the past. And it's also revealed that Silverfang just completely destroyed him in this sparring match. Now, he didn't damage him or anything, but like he repelled all of his strikes and put Darkshine on his butt multiple times. So that's giving us more insight into how truly absurd Silverfang really is if he can just play with someone like Darkshine. But after that, we see one of the most impressive displays of power and one of just the coolest techniques in the series. So we're seeing Garou by himself using the Cross-Fang Dragon Slayer Fist. So depending on how this plays out in the manga, Bang and Bomb may perform this technique on Overgrown Rover before this sequence. But in Garou's case, he's able to do this by himself because he is a martial arts genius with crazy potential, which is reiterated in this chapter as well, because you have the water stream on one hand and you have the whirlwind iron cutting fist on the other hand, and he could just do it by himself, and it's a crazy attack. Now, we also got a glimpse of Garou attempting this against Orochi at the end of chapter 92. In Garou's like last-ditch effort against him, he does the abandonment, and then he comes at him with a whirlwind iron cutting fist in his lead hand and then the whirlwind iron cutting fist in his retracted hand. But we don't see how it plays out, and they don't really draw too much attention to it. They don't give us like exposition like, I'm performing the Cross-Fang Dragon Slayer Fist now, like they typically do in battle manga. He kind of just silently does it. But now we're seeing what this technique is, and it's essentially like the strongest thing that Garou can currently do. Like, it's his ultimate technique, more or less. And he does this to Darkshine to the extent where he just doesn't stop. Like, Darkshine's just like, is he going to stop now? Is he going to take a breather? No, he just endlessly does it until he just, like, mentally breaks Darkshine to the point of where Darkshine is like, is his speed increasing? Is it just my imagination? No, he's actually getting faster. We've seen this happen with Garou before, because when he was going against Orochi, he was running, you know, outspeeding his horns and whatnot, and then he was also getting faster mid-fight, as pointed out by Garou. So this isn't just a coincidence. This is actually revealed to be one of Garou's abilities, one of his most significant abilities, which we've seen throughout the series, but it just really hasn't been quantified until this point. So it's revealed that only when fighting a stronger opponent who corners him, Garou can find his true strength and grow. So that's it. He has a broken, intrinsic mid-fight growth ability. He's essentially has like the Shonen MC ability, but he's like an anti-villain at the same time. So adds to the brokenness of Garou. So now let's get into what I consider the most significant detail of this fight. So Darkshine counters with like a super alloy bazooka, one of his named moves, and Garou's able to catch this in his hands. And at this point, the narration says that Garou's limiter seems to be breaking. So this is the second time, as far as I know, that the limiter is ever mentioned in the series. The first time is when Dr. Genius reveals it to Zombie Man as to how Saitama became so powerful. But now we're seeing that someone else is approaching that insane mythical zone. So I think this is also showing us that there is multiple ways of going about breaking one's limiter. Now, we know Saitama trained for 3 years non-stop, and through, you know, fighting multiple monsters, coming close to death, reviving from that, along with the non-stop stress that he put on for himself from the training, he broke his limiter that way. But in Garou's case, who's super talented, who has way more potential than Saitama, who was just noted to be a normal person with no real potential by Dr. Genius, Garou can break his limiter within a couple days by just going through the insane gauntlet that he has gone through this whole entire saga. Like, he's come close to death multiple times, and he's also improved greatly because of all the overpowered opponents that he's been fighting, which goes back to the ability that we just talked about. So all of this together can push Garou to breaking his limiter. Now, does this mean that when he becomes awakened Garou, did he remove his limiter then? It's not really explained, But given that we see the narration here of the limiter seems to be breaking, we can probably put 2 and 2 together, and that might explain what Awakened Garou is. Now, I hope that this is explained in the manga, and if you would like more info... You can just check out my video, Awakened Garou Explained. But this is pretty significant to me because the limiter is kind of like the main thing of the story, more or less. It's like the highest form of power, something that we're all trying to see more insight into. But that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. I can't wait to see how this plays out in the manga. And I know you guys are hyped too. But if you liked the video, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll